knowledge of the drama tells us that I, the soul, am in my last birth of this cycle, and my aim is to go back home and come back to find a place for myself, a high position for myself in the golden aged world. Now, Baba says, don't forget the knowledge of the drama, because when you remember the knowledge of the drama, you remember your aim and you do what it takes to fulfill your aim. And what is our first aim? To go back to the world of peace. So we have to choose peace. Yes, we cannot go back to the world of peace when we have the sanskar of chaos. We have to go back to the world of peace with the sanskar of peace. So do we choose that? Yes, because you see, I think there are two questions, the should and the can. So whenever you're thinking about any action, then first you think about whether you should do it. And then second you think about whether you can do it. So, because if you just did what you can without thinking about the should, then you will keep doing what you shouldn't. And that's not a very good idea. So, Baba makes the should very clear, that I should choose peace because I have to go back to the world of peace. And Baba says that, in this world, why we don't choose peace is because the should is not clear. Because ego tells you, why should you choose peace when somebody is shouting at you? So you don't have any reason to choose peace. And whether you can or not comes later. But first you have to have a good reason. And Baba tells us that now you don't have to worry about, whether this old world will appreciate you for choosing peace or not, or it is in consonance with the beliefs and the ways of the old world or not. But now it's time, and we have to go back to the world of peace, to the world of happiness. So we have to choose to be peaceful, choose to be happy. And Baba says that you don't have to reply back to even somebody who is talking to you rudely or in not a proper way. But we have to understand, why should we do that? Because we have to go back to the world of peace. So do not reply, because you see, when you reply, when you are under the influence of the words of somebody who is not talking properly to you, then what will you do? You will also, speak words that do not have that vibration of peace. So Baba says, first you have to overcome this compulsiveness to reply. Yes, so it's not about whether you should reply peacefully or not. But I think, whenever you tell somebody that don't react, they will say, okay, but I can at least reply to them in peace. Yes, I could reply to them. I could use accurate words to reply. But the thing is, if you cannot refrain from this compulsiveness to reply, then you don't even understand that you are not in a state to choose peaceful words. If you have this compulsiveness that I have to reply, that means that you are in reaction mode. And however smart you want to play, your state of being will have an influence of your action. So Baba says, first accept this idea that even when somebody is talking rudely, I don't reply. I'm absolutely okay without replying. So first come to that place. And if we are not in that place, then believe me, I'll give you 100% guarantee that you cannot reply in peace. So this is something that Baba tells us, that even if somebody is not speaking properly, just don't reply. And when you don't reply, what do? So many a times we don't reply in the old world also, but yes, that in the old world we don't reply because we can't reply, not because we don't want to reply, but because we can't afford to reply. Yes, the boss is shouting at you, give him a reply, he'll give you a letter and dismiss you. So you're not replying because you're not because you're not choosing to reply, but because you can't reply. And don't camouflage your ego-based actions as spiritual choices. Yes, because many a times people say that, I'm not replying to the boss, I'm not replying to elders, but that's because the ego that we have carried for 63 births, that has taught us to not do so. So, but Baba is not talking about that. Don't reply where you can reply. And when you do that, it has to be a conscious choice. And Baba always says in the Murli, do not use the word tyag for a choice you make in a no choice situation. Yes, so in the world, many a times we are in a no choice situation. And in that situation, do not feed your ego by saying that I chose to follow Srimad, because there you couldn't, behave otherwise. But in places where you can, when you are with people younger than you or lower in position than you, or those who cannot reply back to you, in those times you have to check yourself how you behave with them. And Baba says that you have to overcome this compulsiveness, this urge to reply back, because you have to go to the world of peace. And for that, you have to make effort, because it will not happen just like that. So Baba says, practice being soul conscious, practice being introverted. So always practice. What is introverted? In Hindi it is called antarmukhi. So you see this mukh, this has our ears, our eyes, our nose, our mouth. And I, the soul, am always bahar mukhi. What does it mean? My buddhi yoga is always with what I see, what I hear, what I smell, what I taste. Yes? Is your buddhi yoga not always with that? And when your buddhi yoga is constantly with your sense organs, then whatever messages you are receiving through the sense organs, they are immediately, without even without even losing a fraction of second, they are translating into thoughts and feelings in your mind. Yes, so all the time, 24 hours a day, your mind is flooded with the information that's coming from the eyes, the ears, the tongue, the nose, and all the time your mind is experiencing thoughts and feelings based on that. And this is so constant, you never take a break from it. So that is the Baharmukhi Avastha. That is when you are always extroverted. And Baba says that take a break from that. So sit in your state of soul consciousness, go within and just suspend, your mind from engaging in the play of these sense organs. Just suspend the activity on your mind that is happening because of these sense organs. So when you are antarmukhi, you sit on your seat of soul consciousness, remember Baba, and your mind experiences the thoughts and feelings that are coming from Baba. Although your eyes are open, ears are open, you are just choosing to, connect your mind and buddhi with Baba in this state of, you're not going to the soul world, you're here very much. Your eyes are open and everything you are seeing, but you are creating this switch where you're just able to disconnect from the outside and experience communion and being in a combined state with Baba despite everything outside going on as it is. And this you have to practice a lot if you want to have choice over how you want to think and feel in a situation. Because right now we don't have a choice. Yes, do we have a choice? We see something, immediately our mind starts thinking and then our mouth starts speaking and we don't even know what we spoke. And later you sit in yoga with Baba and then you think, why did I see like this? Why did I think like this? Why did I speak like this? Because in an extroverted state, your mind is absolutely bombarded by the control of the sense organs. And in that state, you don't have a choice. So Baba says you have to practice being very antarmukhi. And whenever you get even 10 seconds, don't look at your phone. Go within, sit with Baba and experience the feelings of being combined with Baba. And in that time, just suspend your sense organs. They are there, but you are not worried about what's happening. And I'll tell you one thing. So, when I used to, in the beginning, when we started having a class, so at that time, there was a lot of noise on the street. And whenever so I used to sit facing the door whenever I conducted yoga and everybody else would come in through that door, right? So that was how the arrangement was. And when somebody came through the door and they left that door open, then a lot of noise would come in. Okay, and I would always get, I would always see that, this person came and they left the door open and now there's so much noise. And then I would start thinking, can't they hear that? I can hear the noise, why can't they hear that? And then, my yoga will get disturbed. And after some time, maybe after at least, 15 minutes of doing this, I thought, what am I doing? Like, they are bringing that noise into the room and I'm also creating this noise inside and spreading that vibration in the room. So I'm actually doing what they are doing. So then I practiced. That was my first practice of introversion in this BK journey, I'm telling you. So I started practicing that I will see but not see, and whatever anybody is doing for that 1 hour of yoga, I will just be with Baba. And I stopped thinking about whatever was happening. Somebody's phone ringing, somebody leaving the door open. And then with that practice, then I started practicing it during the day. So that was my first practice of being introverted. And when you practice this, when you sit in yoga, at least, just don't think about, you will see everything, yes, until unless there is a fire breakout. Don't think about it. Yes, don't tell me that Didi, the fire broke out, but you told us remember Baba and just keep sitting, so I didn't get up. So don't do that. But otherwise, it's not, if it's not an emergency, just control that urge to start thinking about whatever you're seeing, and just go within and make sure, don't close your eyes, keep your eyes open and deal with this urge to not think about what you're seeing and just be with Baba. And practice being in, and obviously, we are not in ideal situations anytime. So whenever you sit in yoga, there will be things that are happening around you. And I remember there was this one Mata, and it was very interesting. She would sit online, and there's a child, and the child is, I think, 3 years or something, and the Mata would be sitting in yoga, and the child would just be jumping up and down and all over her, and she would be sitting in yoga with eyes open and just being in that state of introversion. And it was a beautiful scene to watch. And slowly I saw that the child also became very quiet. So after, I think, at least 3 months, it was not very soon, but after at least 3 months, the child started not disturbing, and whenever he came to the room, he also sat beside her. But it took 3 months for that Mata to, just not have any thoughts about whatever is happening outside. And Baba says, when you practice this consciously, then you have this choice where you choose to react or choose to, be not, you have this choice where if you don't choose to answer back to somebody, you can, you are not in that state of compulsiveness. So that choice has to be created. And then Baba says, don't engage in gossip. Yes, so gossip is cheap entertainment through the senses. And you see, speaking something, listening to something which is not even verified. Yes, and these days there's so much gossip around you, and I think 99% of the information you receive these days is unverified. Yes, and all of that is the information which people have a lot of interest in discussing and expanding, because that's the sanskar of gossip. And Baba says, don't gossip. And you need a lot of antarmukhi state to even discern what qualifies as gossip. Because you see, what I have understood is 99% of our conversations are only gossip. When you're talking about anything or anybody about which you don't have first-hand experience with. Most of the things we don't have first-hand experience with. and we are only talking about what we heard, and we don't know why the person who told us so. Even if it is telecast on national television, you don't know why it was done and what was the intention, and you don't know the politics behind it, or you don't know the commerce behind it, because politics and commerce drive everything. So, if you're not paying for it, no news is going to spread. So, and you don't pay for truth, right? So, we know we are the best people to know that, because we are the ones who know the truth. Do you pay to circulate it? Nobody pays to circulate the truth. so nobody is interested also. All the Baba tells, book newspapers and tell everybody that Baba has come. You're never interested in paying to circulate the truth, but whatever is being circulated, that's obviously having somebody's commercial and political and other interests. That's why it's circulated. And that's why Baba says that don't gossip. And to understand what qualifies as gossip, you have to be very antarmukhi. Because when you are antarmukhi, you understand almost everything qualifies as gossip. And, and I have, in this Brahmin life, I have understood that, whenever you listen to anything other than the Murli, just listen to it with detachment, because when we are on the seat of an instrument, we have to listen to a lot of stuff, because somebody shares or somebody is telling you. So you have to listen to it also as a duty, as your seva. But then we take it with a pinch of salt. We don't really think about we don't think that whatever somebody is saying is true. And I have this language where, when I tell Santosh Bhai also that, this person said this, so I always tell him they said so. I don't know whether that's true. So this is what they said and this is what they are asking. So what do we have to do in this? So it's not like I believe what they are saying, or I believe that this is the situation, because you never know. So even when you hear something, then you have to take it with a pinch of salt and never spread something anyways. So even when you know that 100 people are saying it, you don't have the right to be the 100 first, because 100 people are saying it and that's okay. No, Baba says that don't participate in this gossip, because nobody is verifying it, everybody is just spreading it. So Baba says these are two things that, and this gossip is pap karma, because you are, so when you gossip about somebody, then you are spoiling somebody's heart. Yes, do you understand? When you give somebody negative information, then that negative information is going to spoil their heart. And what is your duty as a BK? Your duty as a BK is to nourish everybody's heart, not spoil hearts. So when you spoil somebody's heart, then you are taking them away from Baba. So don't gossip. So that's and when you gossip, it will take away your peace. You cannot be peaceful, you cannot experience peace if you are doing the pap karma of gossiping. And this is why Baba says you have to go back. So choose to not reply even when somebody is rude. Choose peace. Choose not to gossip. And then Baba says you have to go back to the world of happiness. So don't give anybody sorrow. Yes. And sometimes you do your thing and then somebody is getting hurt. Yes, so you're choosing to eat pure food, or you're choosing to follow celibacy, and then somebody's constantly telling you that you're giving me sorrow. So in those situations, what do? You always, so when they are saying you are giving me sorrow, you don't start justifying it that I'm not giving you sorrow. So you understand their pain and you just have good wishes for them. So you understand that this person is under the influence of vices, so they cannot understand what you're doing, and give them good wishes. Yes, be very strong on the outside because Maya will take a chance there. And whenever, through that door of compassion, Maya will tell you that you have to engage in, you have to fulfill their wishes and what they want, because otherwise they'll be unhappy. But Baba says that's not the way. You cannot give anybody happiness without being pure. So first thing is you preserve your purity, but then don't create thoughts of rejection and thoughts of criticism for somebody who doesn't appreciate your path or isn't able to appreciate your path. So don't give sorrow through your words, through your acts anyway. And even when it comes to this situation where somebody says, I'm in sorrow because of your maryada, don't take it personally. Have good wishes for that soul. And good wishes will turn things around. Yes, and I have not seen in this whole Brahmin journey that somebody who is a powerful, peaceful, pure, loveful, blissful soul will not be able to change the heart of somebody else. But because there is, the spiritual energy inside us is less, that's why we can't transform the other. So just keep working on yourself and you will have an influence on the other also. But you will not have that influence if you keep working on them. You will have that influence if you keep working on yourself. So Baba says these are the directions, because when you want to go back to the world of peace and happiness, you have to choose peace and happiness at all times. And I think Baba gave another point. Yes, so Baba says, okay, so there is gossip, there is practice staying in silence and putting a bead of silence in your mouth, which is being introverted. And there is another thing which I want to talk about, which is in the blessing. So Baba today says that if you become a trustee, then you will be able to change the situations that are coming in the form of a crucifix into a needle. So there is this expression suli se kata. So when the karmic settlements of past births, they come like a crucifix. They come like they're going to kill you. They come like something very big. But Baba says you can change it into something very small by being a trustee. And what is a trustee? So you see, if you have made the effort to change everything that was I and mine into this belongs to Baba. And it's not just like you say, this is not mine, this belongs to Baba. No. But if you have really made that effort, then when that storm comes, you will be unshaken. So let me tell you one thing. Just think about a situation where there is a big threat to your reputation and somebody is defaming you very badly. And in that moment, you feel like, all that you earned in this whole life is going to collapse, because that's what you earned. But if you just think about in that moment, if you are able to have this thought that what is my reputation? I belong to Baba. So my reputation is Baba's reputation. And even if something is lost, that loss is Baba's, not mine. I belong to Baba, so nothing is mine. So it's okay. Then you don't feel the pinch of that whole scene, and you are able to be in yoga. And when you are able to be in yoga, then even that big scene, because yes, it's a karmic settlement, it has come, but it will change into something very small, and no real big loss will happen. So you will not lose out on a lot of things because of that act. And just think about some loss of property. Yes, maybe somebody is just trying to take away whatever is in your name or something. Then if you are able to create this thought that this property is Baba's, not mine, and if you sincerely believe that this is Baba's house, not mine, then you will see that that whole situation will change from a big fiasco into a very little, very, very small thing. And I remember there was one person and he dealt with legal matters. And he told me one very interesting thing once, which I always remember. He told me, Didi, when there is a property dispute, then it's always about who will give up first. Yes, who will give up first. So, two people are having reconciliation, and who will surrender first and who will make a compromise first. And who makes the compromise first? The one who has more attachment. So they fear. So when you fear a lot, then you say, okay, I'm going to give you this much, but I don't want to lose the rest. But if that person was fearless, then he wouldn't even have to give up that much in that scene. And do you understand this thing, what I'm saying? So let's say somebody is, so I remember there was a brother and sister, Lokik brother sister, and they were just talking about that property. And then there was this brother, and he said that I don't mind losing it, but I'll not give it all to you. And I don't mind losing it, it's okay. And that made the sister come to a compromise. Because she understood that I'll lose all of it if this brother, if I don't make a deal with this brother. And then she gave away a lot to the brother, and the brother said, Didi, if she had just not relented, then I would have given her a bigger share. But she came to a compromise earlier. So if you have a lot of attachment, then you will always, and I'm not asking you to be adamant. Sometimes you're adamant, but if you don't have attachment, then you will get the best solution. Because anyways, when you take step out of fear, when you take any step out of fear, that leads to a distorted result. So Baba says, when you don't have any I and mine, then you don't make wrong decisions under the influence of attachment and fear. And then what looked like a very big situation, see it, anyways, when you remove the I and mine, it becomes very little. So either you have it, don't have it, doesn't make a difference, belongs to Baba anyway. So when you remove all of that I and mine, it becomes very light. And then you are able to deal with that light thing in a very right perspective, and you are able to do the right thing for it. And where there is I and mine, your mind gets clouded by so many thoughts of fear then you inevitably end up making the wrong decision. So this is why Baba says, and it is your decisions that settle or aggravate the karmic account. It is your decisions that you take moment by moment that settle or aggravate the karmic accounts. Yes, and you see that somebody tells you that, you know, if you don't give up on Baba's Srimad, then I'll drive you out of the house. But you see, you think, my life, what will I do with it, this, that. So then you end up compromising with that vicious soul. But if you say, okay, this life belongs to Baba and Baba will look after it, then you know what looks like a very big situation, you don't create any thought of fear about it, and you are okay with anything that comes your way. And then that becomes a very little situation, because then you realize that the other person was just threatening you. It was not like that. So this is something that you have to understand. So and I always, you know, in my opinion, in my experience, there is nothing more powerful than a fearless soul. And you can only be fearless if you have no sense of I and mine. And when you have attachments, you will always have fear. And then when you magnify something with fear, every little thing will look like a very big thing. And it will become very insurmountable in your head, and then you will not be able to respond to it accurately or not take help from Baba. But when you remove that I and mine, it's a very little thing, and with Baba's help, you'll make the right choices and overcome it. Okay, Om Shanti.